Okay, so apparently the second coming of Christ Chan is happening right before our eyes. The other day I knew there was a hearing, and like most people I expected it to just be another in a long line of continuances. But lo and behold, something else happened. Now, we don't entirely know what it is that happened yet, other than that something was resolved, as you can see on screen right here. With Chris's case the past few years, they've been very quiet on any types of details if it's anything big, because they know the nature of Chris's case. I guess his lawyer found out just the type of following he had, and I mean, how couldn't he? It's Chris Chan. But we don't know exactly what has been resolved, but seeing what's happened in the past 24 hours, I think we can start making some parallels. So I want to start this though back last week, because before all this happened, Chris was spotted again. Someone took a video of him in Walmart. It's another one of these like grainy footage-esque like Bigfoot sighting videos. But something that you'll notice here, and something that you'll notice in all of these past Chris sightings, is that he doesn't have his phone. Now you might think it may be in his bag, it may just be in his pocket. Whenever you see Chris in public, at least before the arrest, he was always looking right down at his phone. And in not a single one of these sightings that people have had with Chris, there's no photo evidence or anything of him being on his phone, which to me was kind of weird even from the beginning. Even though I knew that there was some type of order that kept him from going online, and that's most likely why he didn't have his phone. So Chris hasn't had any internet access, and I think what a lot of people thought was when you eventually see him on like some type of app or doing something saying he's online, well then you'll know that he has his phone again. And that's exactly what happened. We'll get into that just in a second, but there were a few other sightings. In this one right here, Chris was spotted at a game place, not the game place, a game place. And I believe that the reason that Chris has been seen at so many of these establishments as of late is because he doesn't have his phone, and because he's not able to go online, talk to people, conversate. He only has very few means of interaction with people and doing the type of nerdy stuff he likes to do. And so, of course, this is the place that Chris was going to end up. I remember watching the Geno documentary maybe a few months ago, and hearing about Chris when he first got into like Magic the Gathering, had a character that was just so overpowered. Apparently, he was like a Sonichu that could run like 10 times faster than everyone. And I can only imagine the type of hell he's putting these people through here, because this is his only outlet to talk about the Sonichu stuff, because he thinks these other people are like, they're all like-minded like me. We're all talking about this fantasy stuff, so, Sonichu, perfect fit. And I don't know, I would love to know what this game is like while Chris is at the table. And so for about a week, all was quiet on the Western Front. And then, just the other day, someone noticed when they logged into Pokemon Go that a certain Sonichu was back online for the first time in 2 years. Now, if you don't know about Pokemon Go, it's a game that you can only really play on your phone. I know there's spoofing apps you can use like on your computer and all to basically put yourself anywhere in the world, but I assume most people know what Pokemon Go is. And I don't know if y'all knew this, but Chris is a huge player of this game when he was able to do it. I imagine he was just walking around his jail cell just really pissed off that it wasn't counting his steps. He had eggs to hatch, damn it, and the court system, they really messed him up with that. They ruined him seeing all these new generations of Pokemon coming into the game. It was a hard time for Chris. But he gets right out, and apparently the first thing he does is goes right back on his phone, maybe call up some people, see what your next move is. Hell no, download Pokemon Go. Let's go catch a couple Patrat to celebrate my freedom. So you might be wondering, what does this entirely mean? Does this mean Chris is out of the group home and able to go right back home? Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. And you also might be wondering, does this mean he's just able to go wherever he wants again? Because all we've seen in the past few months is these seemingly like scheduled trips to the grocery store or to Walmart or something, usually at the first of every month. Because seeing this, you would think whatever rule they laid down on Chris to tell him that he couldn't be at the internet, that's seemingly what was resolved in this past court hearing. I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but the fact that he's right back on here just a couple days afterwards, I mean, it shows that he can't ever stay away. Because if he could have got on the internet in the past, in the past 6 months that he's been out in the group home, damn well he would have been on there. I mean, it's not just Pokemon Go either. But it does still involve Pokemon because, I mean, most times with Chris, no matter what you're talking about, whatever situation is, whatever context, Pokemon can be, like, it can be something thrown in there that would be pretty relevant to the situation. And that would be what you see here on the screen with Chris's Nintendo Switch profile. So, if you remember a few months ago when Chris first was sighted in Walmart, the pictures the people put out, a lot of people speculated that he had a Nintendo Switch inside of that shopping cart. Because if you know Chris, you know the second he was able to, he was going to get back on his video games. Now, I believe I've brought this up before, but every time I hear about Chris buying that Switch, I just think, well, it was obvious that he wasn't going to be able to go back to Branchland and get all of his toys, even though he probably thought he would be able to. But if you remember, on the day Chris got arrested, he was at a hotel. And at that hotel, he had his Nintendo Switch with him. Now, obviously, we know this because if Chris even had to spend one night away from home, you knew he was going to have his Switch there so he could play some Sonic. But do you remember when he tried taking money out of Barb's account? Didn't he want to buy video games with it? And I just remember that Chris's Switch was there. So when he got arrested, they either just threw it out, put it in like some type of like evidence locker, I don't know. But Chris probably never got that back, and that's why he bought this new one. But the thing is, we haven't seen Chris online on this new Switch. Because you can have one of them and not have internet access and still play your games, which is a ridiculous concept. Imagine telling someone that 20 years ago. Yeah, you'll have to play most of your games online, though. Like, a lot of them don't even work without an internet connectivity anymore. Kind of crazy like that, but this is the first time people have seen Chris actively on the internet, and it happening the same day that he's back on Pokemon Go. You know, it's not a coincidence. This is why I think that whatever was resolved was involving his whatever rules they had on him. Like I said, for all we know, he could be walking around Virginia right now, just completely out, sleeping at bus stops, doing his best Daniel Larson impersonation. We don't know yet, but what we do know is that he's back. He's back. If he's on his phone, I'm telling you this. If he's on his phone, there's no way I can see this going more than a week without him, like, jumping on Twitter, doing something like that. Maybe they told him he can just go online for these games, but I don't know. Like, are they really going to jump through that many hoops to be like, well, you can play online, but you can't post online? I don't think so. So if Chris really is out, which all this seems to prove, it's going to be a weird week. It's going to be a weird week, but y'all know I got you here. I got you covered with anything Chris related. We've been covering this story since it began 2 years ago, and it's wild to think that we just hit the 2-year anniversary of making videos here on this channel, and for everyone who's always shown love and supported, I thank you for that. But it seems like we're reaching the culmination of this, and whatever happens next, you know, I'll have it right here for y'all. We're going to see it all in real time, and I think that day that Chris does inevitably show up back online is just going to be surreal, because it's just for 2 years now, Chris Chan's been locked up for diddling his mom, and you know damn well that when he does get back on, he's going to act like none of that ever happened. If anyone says anything, ban those trolls from my chat. Like, he's not going to take anyone serious. People are probably going to try to press him on it. Somebody wrote in my live stream last night, and it was something that really got me thinking. They said, hey, don't you think some weens or someone are going to try to eventually confront him in real life? And it just had me thinking, like, I'm actually surprised they haven't already. I've said it since day one on this channel. Never go tap the glass. Never go touch the poop. Do not go and try to, like, encounter Chris Chan. It's only going to look worse for you than it even will on him. But there's a lot of crazy people in this world. And honestly, before Chris did all this, a lot of people just looked at him as he's an older lolcow, he's a goof. But now that he's done this, and he's like, it's known that he did that to his dementia-ridden mother, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, people might have some words for Chris, and it's just, again, just don't do it. For your own sake, just don't do it. On the other hand, though, if Chris is actually going to be just out there and homeless with nowhere to go, because he's sure as shit not going to be able to go back to Branchland, I think no matter what, they're not going to allow Chris to go live in the same place as Barb again after what he's done, and after he's shown no remorse for doing it, if the letters from last year are to be believed. Maybe the government just doesn't care, and they'll just say, fuck it, let him move back in. You know, that's always a possibility. But I do believe, again, that there's going to be people who are willing to let Chris bunk at their house. And again, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? And I know I'm beating a dead horse, I know everyone knows this, but just again, it's always best to watch from behind the computer screen. Something funny that I noticed while just looking at this picture and recording the video is that Chris, you can tell how little of an attention span he has, because look, he started playing Pokemon Shining Pearl 56 minutes prior, and then Legends Arceus like just 20 minutes later, and then the person who posted this said that like he was playing Pokemon Scarlet afterwards, so he can't even, like he can't set his mind straight. He's been in jail for like 3 different mainline Pokemon games, and this is huge for Chris. I can't imagine like how much time he's going to spend on Sonic Frontiers. These Pokemon games may be losing his interest, which I can't entirely blame him for because the intros to some of these games, especially Legends Arceus, is just brutally long. But you know damn well that Sonic Frontiers, he's going to play that until every single coin is collected. And if you're watching this video wondering, well, now that Chris is probably out, what's his next move? Well, I just told you, it's probably just to play Sonic Frontiers for the next week until he can 100% that sumbitch. There's no way that he's doing anything but that. An open world Sonic game, that's probably Chris's dream. And you know that someone wrote to him in jail telling him about that, and he was probably counting the days on his calendar just waiting to pick that game up. And honestly, that's really all I had for y'all here today. I assume this is going to be one of these weeks where I upload a video like this, and before we know it, more info comes out. But I thought that this was enough that I could just bundle it in a nice video here and let y'all know what's going on. I went live last night and was talking about this for a little bit, and I'll probably be live tomorrow. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. We got a bunch of new videos coming up over the horizon, a video on Jupiter, probably a few more on Cyrax, Daniel Larson, you know, all the greats, all the greats. And yeah, I gotta thank you guys again. It's been 2 years now we've been doing this, and it's been a joy to do it every time with the goats like y'all in the comments down below and always chilling in the live chat. And again, I just gotta say thank y'all. So I'm out of here. You guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, great rest of the summer. You know, just party it up, my friends. The summer of the lolcow is quickly ending, but you know what? There's going to be a bunch of good shit happening, I think, before it officially culminates. So, again, I'm out of here. Take care.